Everybody, I hope you're having a great morning so far. I'm really excited. Whenever the Erank Trend Buzz report comes out, I'm always want to dig into it as soon as it's available because this information is on a timer. It's like this is data from last month, and we want to know, how to apply this as quickly as possible to our shops. So let's see, I'm going to wait a second to let everybody hop on. If anyone wants to join in the conversation, I'd love to know your comments and thoughts on the report. If you had a chance to look at it, I haven't. I just briefly took a second to look. All right, so if you haven't used Erank before, it is a program, I guess you would call it, online that analyzes all the data from Etsy as far as search data and other things relating to your shop specifically. So it's a great tool for Etsy sellers, and I love it for its really deep data on the searches and what people are searching for, and it really helps me in my decisions of what I want to sell, what trends I want to follow. I've definitely made decisions on what keywords to use using Erank, which is probably its most powerful feature, because if you can find keywords that are highly searched and low competition, which is the data that Erank gives us, that is a very powerful tool in my mind to increase your searches and getting found on Etsy. And that can be as simple as rewording or using a different word or a different order of words to create this keyword that's going to be incredibly valuable. So what they used to call the trend buzz, now it's monthly trends, and that comes out once a month, and it aggregates all the data from the previous month to give us the top keywords that were searched in the month. So we're in the month of doing the month of March 2021 in this video, and the report was released yesterday on April 6th, in the afternoon, and I didn't get a chance to do a video yesterday, so I thought today would be a great opportunity to dig into this and hopefully give us some ideas. This is a great way to come up with product ideas. If you are in a slump, if you are just trying to find inspiration or ideas, let the consumer tell us what they want. And if some of these things are just fluke trends, and I'll show you how to spot those, and then some of these things are maybe more lasting trends or growing over time, and the data in Erank lets us find out which ones to kind of go after if we're thinking of coming up with a new product line or new product ideas or just a direction to go in general with our shop. If you're struggling with that, obviously if you already have a product line and a really good direction for your shop and you're not necessarily looking for those ideas, you can use this data to maybe update your tags or your titles if there's some stale listings in your shop that maybe could help revamp those and get those seen more and give those some more life. So there's ways to use this data for everyone, no matter where you are in your Etsy shop. The first thing I do, now I use Erank Pro, which has all the data, and I'm just going to dig into the top 5 Etsy keywords for the month of 2021, and we're going to dig into these and get some more ideas on what in these specific keywords is building those trends. Because yes, it's wall decor is the number 1, but is there anything in the sub niches or subcategories of wall decor that's kind of driving this trend in wall decor? Because you can see in the graph here, there's a jump for March, and my guess would be this will continue to grow, because if you think about when people add artwork to their spaces and their living spaces, it's probably springtime, spring cleaning, this kind of stuff, I would guess. And then also maybe going back to the office might be a way of interpreting this wall decor trend if people are going back into their offices, they might want to buy something to hang on the wall in their office. Just a thought. I don't know if that's true. So we'll dig into stuff like that, and then we'll use the data to back up, what we see. And I want to just let everyone know I'm on Twitter, and this is where I post a majority of what I do. And I also have those tweets snapshotted and sent to my Instagram, which is _Whutsy. So you can follow me there as well, and you can see the tweets. It's just they aren't, you can't click through on Instagram. That's why I'm not a big fan of Instagram. Like, I'm trying to give you guys information and get you guys to read and see and click. And you can't click on Instagram, and that's why I don't like it in particular for my business. But I understand everyone's there, so I want to get the information to you guys however I can. But I have my link to my Twitter, and as far as like conveying information to other Etsy sellers, Twitter's a really great place to do it. And even if it's you just follow me and Etsy updates, or Etsy status or something, just so you have the latest news on Etsy, and you can click through on the links, click through on the videos, and see all this stuff. Now you can also follow me on YouTube, which is where I post all my videos. Everything goes up here, and I'm posting videos all the time, every day at least. I did take a break for Easter weekend, but usually once a day, or sometimes twice a day. Sometimes I do a live stream in the afternoon if I come up with some little tips or tricks. And so you will see, if you go to my YouTube channel, there's tons of videos and resources for you. And even something like Etsy News, where it may seem like, oh, this is old information, I usually dig into stuff in a way that makes it relevant for a longer period of time than just that day. Of course, I'm talking about what's new on Etsy and what's happening, but a lot of that information can be disseminated and used many times over. Okay, so take a look at the channel, give me a subscribe, like the videos. That really helps me out. I want to continue doing these videos for everybody as a way of collecting resources for Etsy sellers. I want to provide as much information as I can to everybody for free, and hopefully build a great community here, and just have a way of informing Etsy sellers. So now we're going to get into the Erank report, okay, for March 2021. Now I have an Erank Pro account, so they do have a free version of Erank, and it does not contain all the information. So you're getting a little sneak peek into what the Pro account can offer. And if you're using a free account, you can follow along on your free account, and you can compare what's different. What are you seeing that's different? What information are you not getting? Are you able to make the best decisions with the free account? I think you can make a lot of really good decisions based on the free account. I don't want to encourage anyone to get the Pro account if that's something that is out of your price range. And if you are just making a single item shop, or just a small product line, and you have what you sell, and that's what you sell, and that's what you do, and that's it, then you don't need the Pro account. The Pro account is mostly helpful for sellers who are maybe adding items constantly, have a very big shop, have lots of items, are trying to follow trends in particular, or get an insight onto what people are buying and searching on Etsy in their category. This is the Pro is definitely for people who are in a more advanced position on Etsy. And even if you are starting a shop, it can be helpful. But I don't want to say to spend money on Erank. I don't think that's a wise decision unless you find yourself missing what we talk about today, where you can compare the free version to what I'm looking at and decide if that's what you want to do. So one of the features of Erank is you're able to make keyword lists. So anytime the new trend report comes down, I make a new list. Sometimes I have a ton of lists, so sometimes I have to delete an old one that I'm not using that's kind of stale and make a new one. So then I create the new list, and I do that by opening up this tab and doing new list and entering in whatever I want the list to be called. And then once I do that, I click save, and I have my new list. And then we can go in here, and I'm just going to dig in. This is all the keywords ever searched on Etsy in the March of 2021. These are the top ones. So we have wall decor, personalized gifts, earrings, gifts, and self-care. So there's no big surprises here. Earrings is an interesting one. That is quite a high search ranking for something specific like earrings. Usually these titles are a little more broad. Personalized gifts is always up there. So that just tells you the power of personalized on Etsy. If you're not doing personalized and you want to boost sales in your shop, thinking about how you can make some of your products personalized will definitely help build a customer base. And with even just peeking down here, I see rings is number 6. So jewelry is very hot on Etsy. There are a lot of jewelry sellers, so you can have a very difficult time competing. And then of course gifts. I think Etsy is the home for gifts, and they should make that clear to every person they're marketing to. I'm talking about Etsy in general here, that it's the place to go for gifts. And I think gift giving and sending things through the mail is becoming huge. And so you can see on the trend graph, there's a huge spike for just the word gifts. And this could be because Mother's Day, but March, I feel like, is not, it may have a little bit of a touch of Mother's Day in it, but I think April is the bigger Mother's Day search month. So this is very interesting to me that gifts had such a huge spike. I mean, you look at this graph, it doesn't even rank for at Christmas, which is this little bump here. So that's a very interesting find. And earrings, you can see, has a steady upward trajectory. So earrings are very popular to begin with, and they are growing in popularity. So jewelry sellers will dig into earrings. And then wall decor had this big bump, and this looks like, so if we go back on the graph, so March, February, January, December, November, October, so this is early fall, end of summer, wall decor was big. So when people were not being able to go outside, maybe changes in the 2020 data is so hard to interpret because it was just such a crazy year. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on wall decor and dig into wall decor more specifically and see if we can find what it is exactly that's maybe driving this trend, or something specific in products or styles that is driving this trend for wall decor. And we have all this data here we can look at. Okay. And you can see Etsy is pretty high up there, not too far away from Amazon. I mean, when you think about Amazon, Amazon is just like an insane amount of business they do. So to see Etsy, close to half of the Amazon searches for this category is quite something. I wouldn't discount it at all. I think people are turning now to Etsy for interesting wall decor. So when we come down to related searches, these are keywords related to or containing wall decor, okay? And it automatically sorts in the highest number of average searches. So you can see just wall decor general is searched the most by far, way by far, okay, than the next one, which is only 8,000 searches. And the click-through rate at 27%, so this means that the number of searches that clicked through, so you see these are the total number of searches, these are the number of people of that search that actually clicked on an item, and that's 27%. And I wouldn't say that's terrible for such a broad category. That is probably about average for just a broad, non-specific category. So in this being so high competition. And then the next one being bathroom wall decor, you can see this has like little spikes and dips all throughout, and that one has a higher click-through rate. So someone searching specifically for bathroom wall decor is going to have a higher click-through rate. And this is still a very high competition keyword. They don't give us any data beyond 50,100 in the Etsy competition, but if we do want to find out how many listings are actually shown for bathroom wall decor, you can just go to Etsy and search this term, and see how many results pop up. Of course, ads will be included in that, so it won't be 100% accurate, but it will give you a good idea of what the competition is doing. So what I do is, to find actual trends, I do a search by sorting by average click-through rate. Because average click-through rate is going to give me the search terms in highest order of the percentage of who clicks through. So just for example, we have the first one with the highest click-through rate is the large letters for wall decor, and that was searched. There was 1 month where it had a spike and there were a bunch of searches for it, and everyone who searched for it clicked through, and so it has this high click-through rate. And I don't want to pay attention to anomalies like this. That's why I like having the search trend graph. I can kind of go down and see, okay, wall decor bathroom has a couple of spikes, high click-through rate. But we know that bathroom wall decor, that other keyword, was the second highest searched keyword in wall decor, after wall decor. So that's kind of interesting, but it's still, this particular keyword's not searched a lot, and so that's why the high click-through rate is so high. Next thing, we got office wall decor has a little bit more spikes, and my idea of that being maybe possibly why there's more wall decor searches is kind of ruined, because there is no search data in the past month really for office wall decor. But as we come down, we start to see this blue spike. Now this means that this was highly searched last month, and there was one other spike too here, and it's buffalo wall decor, which is kind of interesting. And what that is, I'm not too sure, but it gives you an idea of what was trending last month. Maybe there was some sort of news story, or who knows, something on TikTok can make people search for things. So necessarily just one spike out of nowhere doesn't make me think trend. It just makes me think either there was just a spike in searches for that. It's not a sustainable trend. So listing something buffalo wall decor, we might have already missed it. So I just keep going down until I see something with more of these spikes, but with a high click-through rate. And sometimes this takes time, okay, to find. Okay, continuing on. And then you can see, okay, college kit wall decor has a lot of lines here, meaning that this is an ongoing trend that kind of ups and downs, but if you look at the trend, it's slowly going up. In March, there was a little bit of a search volume of this, and you can see the average searches is 2,333, and the click-through rate is 80%, which is great on this. And then even better, the competition. There's not a lot of listings for this, and I don't know what collage kit wall decor is. I'm guessing that is some sort of kit that people make, and then they make their own wall collage, because I'm thinking of like when I was a kid, I used to cut up magazines and just put them on the wall and make a really big collage. I'm wondering if it's that kind of style. So this would be, if you're in that kind of craft type of lane, or something with your shop has something to do with that, that might be a neat way to create a product that's a kit to make these collage. But when it's something that I don't know anything about, I just take this keyword and go and search on Etsy and find out what it is and see what's highly ranking in those keywords, to really get an idea of what it is, and if it's something I want to actually take time to make, or spin off one of my other products to come up with something like this. Okay, and let's see, if we keep coming down, we see there's a little bump for antique wall decor, but that's a very high competition, but it still has a high click-through rate, so that is interesting. It might be an idea of a style to kind of go in if this antique wall decor style is trending. Let's see what else we can find. Okay, and then we have a spike here for wall decor dorm, which is very dorm room wall decor. Looks like it's a very high competition, but if that's going to be trending, if people are going back to college for the last semester, I know spring break just happened, and if everyone's going back to college for the spring, they're going to want stuff for their wall decor. So if you're in that lane, you might want to do some research on that. It could be possible. And then if everyone's going to be going back to college in the fall, then that will be another big boost, because you can see it's just been very flat the last year. All right, and then here's bathroom wall decor again. All right. And we have mirror wall decor is an ongoing trend that kind of has its little ups and downs. The average search is fairly high, click-through rate is good, but this is high competition. So I would do some more research on mirror wall decor before I decided if I wanted to make something like this, or to use this keyword in my listings if I make something that's similar to this. But that one does deserve some more research, because that has spikes from time to time. And then we see metal wall decor. And then crochet wall decor had a big spike, and it had one other spike. So the whole macrame and knotting trend for wall decor is, always ongoing and so highly filled. And Etsy, their trend report for spring summer did mention crochet in there, but they talked about bags and purses. They didn't talk about wall decor. But if you see crochet in general as bags or whatever becoming a trend, that will inadvertently spread to other forms of crochet. So this could be just a spike, or it could be the sign of an ongoing trend that's starting to be coming out. So I would keep an eye on this one and see what it does next month. All right, and then when you start to dip below 50% on the average click-through rate, I kind of say, all right, this is pretty much all I'm gonna find here. Farmhouse wall decor is still hot. There's a lot of competition for that, but it is highly searched. So that could still be, a viable category. And bedroom bee wall decor. Again, I don't know what that is, but it only has a few little spikes. I wouldn't consider that a good keyword in general. All right, so I'm going to stop here with wall decor, and we're going to go back to the monthly report, and then I'm going to go ahead down to personalized gifts, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go into personalized gifts and see if anything jumps out to me as being the trend setter. And you can see here, Etsy owns the marketplace for personalized gifts. Amazon, 50,000 searches on Amazon compared to 250,000 on Etsy. That just shows you where people go when they want something personalized. It is hands down Etsy. Okay, and then we can see, personalized gifts, 256,000 searches. Average click-through rate is 24%. So people are searching for this keyword and then maybe getting ideas and then doing another search that's more specific. But the main thing is, if you're personalized gifts, it needs to be more specific. It can't just using personalized gifts as your keyword probably isn't going to get you anywhere. And just noticing this, we see personalized gifts for mom having a huge spike, and of course Mother's Day is coming up. Seeing the spike this big for March is somewhat unusual. I would expect to see a spike like this for April, so we will see what April looks like when that report comes out in May. because I would like to see, because if this is for March for a personalized gift for moms, I would expect April to just make that look like a little dot. And that's a lot of searches, because this is average searches over the 14 months. So you do that math, that's a lot of searches for this keyword. And the click-through rate is relatively low, so I think these searches were probably people just testing the waters for their Mother's Day gifts, and they'll probably be purchasing in April is my guess, and in the beginning of May, of course, everyone's last minute. So what I'm going to do is just do average click-through rate and see if any trends kind of pop up, and we can see personalized gifts for birthday women and personalized gift for friend's birthday are 2 spikes. And friend's birthday, though it's not a high search volume, isn't completely maxed out as far as in the red line for competition. So that's a thought there. But these little 1 spikes don't really interest me, because they just can be so misleading, and are definitely not keywords that would be useful, because they're not searched very often. So I just keep going down, down, down until I see more than 1 line in the search trend. So here's personalized gift for women, had a big spike last month. Personalized baby shower, hostess gifts. I mean, that is just so specific. These one-off spikes are not necessarily what I'm looking for. So we're going to keep going. Okay, now we're starting to see multiple lines for searches. I want to look for something that's more trending. And the personalized golf gifts, I noticed this a couple months ago, that this is a very popular, the golf gifts category is very underserved on Etsy. It seems to be, I mean, from this you can't really tell, but there's definitely a lot of people searching for golf gifts, and there's not a lot of people selling it. So if you're looking for some niche, that would be a good one, I would think. Let's see. Personalized toddler gifts. This category is very all-encompassing, so it takes a lot to search through this data, and that's why I sort through by click-through rate, because those ones with very low click-through rates are not going to be very good. So you can see I'm already getting down, into the below 50% in the click-through rate, and we really haven't found much. Here we go, personalized Easter gifts for baby girl. Again, just 1 spike, very specific. Let's see. Okay, this is a more trending set of lines here for personalized baby gifts for girl. Has a low click-through rate and very high competition. So doing personalized gifts seems to be very tough keyword to associate with specific products. So I think what we're learning from this data is that it's not necessarily you want to go in here and find personalized gifts. You want to find your niche or your products or your look, like what you sell, add personalized to the beginning of it. So, and then search in Erank with that. So do personalized, if you do coasters, so personalized coasters, put that in, and then you can get some actual information out of this. Just searching personalized gifts on here there's just so many searches for this term that the data is just spread so thin that it's hard to get really anything specific out of it. Personalized gift for boyfriend, it's just very vague. And it has a lot of these little spikes, but nothing's really sustained. So personalized gifts for men had a big bump and then it's kind of tapering down. Very highly searched when it had this big boost. All right. Yeah. So sometimes you go into here and you don't really find anything, but it is giving me an idea that I need to add personalized into any listing that has personalized. So you want to do a search maybe on Erank for the word personalized and then dig into that. That might give you more data. So I'm going to go back and we're going to go into earrings. This is such a very broad keyword as far as, but it's still a specific item. This should give us some good data, because personalized gifts is not, I mean, it's a more of an abstract idea than earrings. You know, earrings are tactile, so we should be able to get some good data out of this. And then we look at the search data. Amazon is the #1 place for earrings. Etsy is up there, and eBay is not far behind. So that's interesting. If you do sell earrings or jewelry on Etsy, you may, I mean, depending on your brand, obviously I don't want you to discount your brand by selling on eBay because it's a totally different customer, totally different vibe, right? But if you're looking to dabble, eBay might be an idea. Okay, so here we are, earrings, #1 search, almost 120,000 average searches based on all this data, and you can see this trending upward. I really like to see. And as far as the click-through rate, 34% for such a broad keyword isn't that bad. You can see that's higher than it was for personalized gifts. So even though it's still a very broad category, someone typing in earrings is looking for earrings. We know what they're looking for, so they're going to have a better chance of finding something they like when they search for earrings versus personalized gifts, which could be anything, right? Anything. And then the next search one is lesbian earrings, and that had a very big trend going in the past year, with a big drop off in February, it looks like, and then a little bit into March. But you can see that this was a very highly searched keyword, and then relatively low competition. So if you understand what lesbian earrings are, who you're selling to, what they're looking for, this could be definitely a very good keyword category or market to sell to for jewelry in general. Even though that trend dipped off, the amount of competition for this keyword and the amount of searches on average, I think still leads to me to say that there is still opportunity in this market, and then the click-through rate it being so high for such a vague, broad category. Because even though it's a niche, lesbian earrings, I'm sure there's tons and tons of ways to interpret what that design is. So that is definitely a winning keyword just right off the bat, which is you don't see very often when you do this. So the next thing I'm going to do is sort by average click-through rate, and then I'm going to start going down here. And right away I see a couple of things that are really good signs. So I'm going to skip Among Us earrings because that's a video game or something, can't copy that. But solid gold hoop earrings. Now this has jumps and spikes everywhere, which means that it kind of has its moment and dies off, and then has a moment and then dies. So that it's still, I think, a viable option if you are making something already that is would be classified as solid gold hoop earrings. You would want to add this as a keyword in your title and tags if you don't already. But then I go down here and I see safety pin earrings, and there's a kind of a jump in the trend, and then another spike, and then another little spike here. And this is very low competition and relatively high average search volume and a very high click-through rate. So people who are searching for this tend to click through, and they want these. If they actually buy, that's another story. We just have this data that we go from. So safety pin earrings, if you're looking for a new product for jewelry and this kind of fits into your brand, your niche, your style, your vibe, this might be something to look into, research, see what people are looking at, what's popular, what people are buying, and making something like that, because this is again another really good winner for earrings. And we know that earrings in general are an upward trend, so what we're trying to do is find the sub trends within that. And safety pins, one of them, and then you can also see that gold hoop earrings. These ones are solid hoop gold and then regular gold. So gold hoop earrings is higher competition, and then they also have small gold hoops. So if anyone's telling you that gold earrings are not in, they're totally off the mark, and I don't see that in the trend reports. And it's obvious just from this data that people are searching for gold hoop earrings, and they are clicking through at a very high rate. So they're looking for them, and there's definitely room for more sellers to be making these. And if they are already making these, they aren't using the correct keywords that people are actually searching for and looking for. So this is a lot of really good data regarding earrings. And as we go down, we see there's a lot of jumps and spikes for dagger earrings that kind of just come out of nowhere. But when I see it just like jump and down, up and down, up and down, that leads me to believe that this is something that kind of pops up once in a while and dies off. So it's something that maybe is social media feeds it, or a news story, or someone famous wearing something like this would cause a spike in dagger earrings. And average searches, when they do spike, is quite high, and the volume of sellers is relatively low. So there is definitely room, if this is something that fits in your vibe, for dagger earrings. Again, I don't know what that means. So if you do, then think about maybe adding those to your products. If you don't, do some more research, see if it fits into your niche. Something like bridesmaid earrings, okay, very highly searched, it's a great bridesmaid gift, but this is very high competition, but the click-through rate is very high on this. So that means when they search for bridesmaids earrings, they are definitely clicking through. But problem is, with the wedding category, a click-through doesn't necessarily mean they are buying, because when planning a wedding or any aspect of a wedding, that data is collecting. The brides are collecting stuff that they want for their wedding, and they will eventually buy, yes, but they do a lot of collecting. And so the data for wedding is usually quite off and hard to interpret. You'll see what's trending and people like more than what they actually buy compared to other categories. So just fair warning on that. But still, knowing what brides like is always useful. It's always useful. And if you can make something that really wows them and really sets you apart from the others, then that's when you can get them to click and make that sale. You really have to entice them in a way that no one else is doing. Okay, and then we have tiny hoop earrings. Again, hoop is a great keyword for earrings. In general, you could probably put hoop with anything and get increased searches. All right, Howell's moving castle earrings has been a trend. I don't know what that is. It's probably a show or game or something, so you want to avoid anything copyrighted. Gold huggy earrings had a trend, and it's kind of still lingering. I'm not sure what that is. Clay earrings, so you can see, is very highly searched, and we all know clay earrings are a trend, and the average search is very high, and the click-through rate is very high. So people like what they see, but the competition's very high. So if you're thinking about making clay earrings, you need to do a lot of research, because that's a very competitive category, but there's still opportunity for making sales with clay earrings. But I would just dig into clay earrings more and find out what they're looking for. I mean, if there's a way to incorporate clay earrings with the gold hoop earring trend somehow, I think that would be maybe a way to combine the two. So you've got the clay earring searching, and then you've also got this gold hoop earring searching, if it's a gold color, or you can add that spot. This is what I get from this data. I don't make jewelry, but I'm just looking at the data and I'm trying to interpret it in a way that could be possible, catching on to a trend before it happens or as it's happening, or giving people what they want, because no one else is. So I'm just trying to think outside the box in that way. And then we have fruit earrings is an ongoing trend, relatively highly searched, and the competition, there's definitely an open for this, especially with this high click-through rate, gives me those ideas. Leather earrings, though it had a big spike last spring, winter, it still has a market and not a lot of competition. Hisoka earrings, I don't know what that is, but this looks like an actual trend. Okay, something that kind of comes out of nowhere, has its little up and down, up, 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 and it's sustained for several months. This looks like a real trend to me. So I don't know if this is like some sort of anime character or something that is copyrighted, or if it's a style. You can take a look, and if it's a style and it's something that you can imitate without infringing on any copyrights, this would be a interesting keyword to use. So you can see in something like earrings, where we have a tactile item that someone is shopping for, we get so much more data, and it's so much easier to read than when we were in that vague, broad, non-specific category of personalized gifts. So that's what I'm always looking for too when I'm doing keyword research in Erank. It's like, I don't necessarily want to search for those vague keywords unless I'm at my limit. Like, there's nothing else I can add for keywords for my listing. I've gone through everything specific and tactile that someone would search for. Now I can go on to those kind of non-specific keywords like gift for so-and-so, which are definitely viable, and those are definitely great keywords to use, but they tend to be more difficult to find good versions of. All right, so we've got lots of great data. I'm not even below 80% on the average click-through rate, but I'm going to move on. So if you are a jewelry seller, I would think that this data would be very, very valuable, and would recommend continuing to look through it on your own time. So I'm going to go back, and then we have gifts as a very broad category, which will be interesting to see what we come up with when we click on it. I have no idea what to expect. It was a very high search volume, 167,000. And then on Etsy, you can see Amazon's still the number one place people search for just gifts. Okay, so just looking at the top here, the top searches with gifts in the name. Of course, we see personalized gifts, number 1, and then bridesmaid gifts, number 2, and then the high click-through rate, like I was talking about with wedding. You'll always see a higher click-through rate when you know it's a keyword that the bride or groom or whoever's planning the wedding would be searching for. So maybe the mother of the bride or whatever would search for this. They're collecting, okay? Which doesn't mean they're not going to buy, but it's just harder. So you may see what you think is a good keyword for a wedding category when it's actually, that data is not going to convert like something else in another category. And then we see best friend gifts having a huge spike after for Christmas and winter holidays. So that is a good one as well. Very highly searched. I would do more research on this search specifically to see what the competition looks like, since it's so highly searched. The Etsy competition being in the red zone doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad keyword. I would search this on Etsy and find out how many people are actually selling best friend gifts. And so now I'm going to just do sort by average click-through rate and come down here, and I see that bridesmaid gifts as also have a big spike. Again, upward trend on these, and you will see that in the high click-through rate as predicted. Okay, here's one that's a little bit of an interesting trend. It kind of had a spike and dipped down as bourbon gifts. I'm going to keep going here. Flower girl gifts. And then again, this is the wedding category. So you have a very high click-through rate, ups and downs. You know, if you would want to get more specific with flower girl gifts. 1 year anniversary gifts for boyfriend. Though last month didn't have a spike in searches or anything like that, it still has these ups and downs, searches and very low competition. Okay, and here's another one, cute gifts for boyfriend, with spikes and valleys. And I would say this one would be probably a little bit tougher, but it's a pretty decent keyword for that, gifts for boyfriend. Let's see. And you can see the big spike for Galentine's Day gifts on Valentine's Day. That would be interesting to see more, have more information about, you know, Galentine's Day, as if you do Valentine's Day gifts and everything like that, incorporating Galentine's Day into your shop in some way next year might be a good idea. Let's see, what else do we have? Anniversary gifts for boyfriend. Though it's very high competition, the click-through rate is very high, search volume is very high on average. So some of these gifts might be good ones to look more into, dig more into. Gifts for boyfriend, you know, anything with that boyfriend. Let's see if we can find anything else that, okay, so here's an interesting one. We have stoner gifts, and this one had a pretty sustainable trend, but when I look at it, it's kind of going down, a downward trajectory on it, but it's still got a pretty high search volume, pretty high click-through rate, and the competition's not maxed out on it. So if that fits your lane, then that might be a good keyword to use. All right. So yeah, again, with a broad category, you can see it's a little bit harder to find specific keywords and specific product ideas. And then I'm just going to go back again to the report, and we're going to just do number 5, and then I'm going to wrap up the video. We have self-care as number 5. And you can see this came out of nowhere, and we all know why. That's 2020. Just everyone spiraling out of their minds, being in lockdown. Self-care became a big category. So let's open this up and see what we can find. So Etsy's the #1 place people search for self-care products, followed by Amazon, and Pinterest is up there too. So that tells me maybe this is a female-centric search, could be, and that if you do self-care products on Etsy, you need to be on Pinterest, and you need to be active on Pinterest. Okay, so first thing I see here, you know, self-care, again, jumped out of nowhere, a very high search volume, average. Click-through rate, not the best, but it's not terrible either, okay? But right below it, we see self-care gift box, which had a big jump for Christmas and the holidays there, and kind of came back down, but still very high volume, and the average click-through rate is very high, and the competition, I would say, is relatively low for this keyword. And this is something that Etsy has been talking about in their trend reports: self-care, self-care, self-care. And people want, you can see the data is right here, right in front of us. They want a box, they want a kit, they want a box, okay? Make a self-care box, self-care kit, and get it on your shop if this is your category. And you want to be careful when making gift boxes, because everything in the gift box has to be handmade or a supply. So you can't just incorporate, you can't go to the dollar store and buy stuff to make a gift box. That doesn't fly on Etsy. So there you go. And here's a little peek into Mother's Day last year. There was that big spike for Mother's Day self-care gift, and there's not a lot of people doing that right now. So if you have a self-care gift box already, and you can spin it off as Mother's Day, get that listing made today and get it out there, because there's probably a lot of people who will be searching for that in the month of April and beginning of May. All right, now I'm going to just sort by click-through rate and to see if anything else pops up, and we see self-care box as being a fantastic product and keyword to use. And then we have self-care kit again, self-care gift box. I mean, there's nothing else we need to know, to be honest. If anything else pops up, we will see here. See custom self-care gift box that had a huge spike last month. So there's definitely, this is what people want in the self-care reign. They're not looking for just a specific item. They're looking for the little kit that they can pamper themselves and, you know, give as a gift or whatever. That's kind of a funny random spike for that. Let's see what else we can find. Self-care for him. Not a lot of searches, but it kind of has its little trends. Self-care kit for women. Again, just spikes here and there. Not super consistent. Self-care gift box for women's had a couple spikes, including last month. And specifically for women is low competition. Self-care package. So this is another good keyword, though, that it had its moment and then it's kind of drifted off. That's just another keyword. So if you have a self-care kit, self-care box, you can use the word package in your tags and maybe in your title as well. All right. Well, I think that is going to about wrap it up here. Self-care planner looks like it might be a growing item in the self-care market, so that might be something to keep an eye on, or including in your gift box, putting in the planner with it. That might be a good idea. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I hope this gave you some insight on some of the top trends on Etsy according to their search data from March 2021, pulled from Erank, and I hope you can use these tips to help you find specific product ideas or inspiration, or find titles or keywords for your titles and tags for Etsy SEO in the coming months, and how to go into Erank and interpret this data and best use it to latch onto stuff that's happening now and kind of straying away from maybe dead keywords or things that are just not searched, and giving that valuable real estate on your Etsy listings to keywords that will get people to click through to your items and buy, which is ultimately what we want. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this video was helpful. Please take a moment and give this video a like, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and hit the alarm bell so you get a notification when I go live. You can also follow me on Instagram. I post usually half an hour to an hour before I go live on there, and then on Twitter I keep everything up to date. That's where you're going to find everything that ever happens that I do. It gets on Twitter. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and please leave your comments on this video. Let me know how this video helped you find the right keywords for your shop, gave you product ideas, anything like that, or how you use Erank to improve your business and your Etsy shop. So have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.